Hi guys, it's Sophie. So I'm going to have a bit of a chat to you today, which is kind of like a follow-up from my Why I Want to Read Less video. So I had a subscriber comment and ask, what happened to that? You've been reading a lot and now you have this massive challenge coming up next year. Explain. And I thought, you know what, fair point, because I've been kind of thinking about it myself and wasn't really sure if I wanted to address it or not. And actually, I think I would. I think it would be good. So for those of you who haven't seen my Why I Want to Read Less video, I was talking about the fact that I felt that the quantity that I was reading was becoming more important than the quality of what I was reading, and that I found that I was putting myself under pressure to read a large amount of books as opposed to understanding what was in them or choosing things that would help me grow personally. And the video kind of explained that that meant I was planning on scaling back my reading and focusing on books that might be slightly longer or I thought might have more of an impact on my own development as a person. Now those things still apply, but what I've kind of found is since filming that video I've slightly changed the way that I have been reading, and I've changed, I think, the way that I've been choosing what I'm reading and to some extent the kinds of books that I'm interested in. So I think the easiest way for me to chat about that is that I feel as though I have stopped necessarily buying things that I think are just going to be popular. So whilst that sounds like a really strange thing, sometimes when you film videos and you're chatting about books and upcoming books, you want to make sure that you're reading stuff that you think lots of other people are going to enjoy. And for me that meant, that was fine some of the time, but sometimes it meant I was reading things that I didn't think I was going to enjoy that much, but I thought other people would. And actually it's really counterproductive to be trying to get to everything you think everyone else is going to like. And I just kind of decided that I was just going to pick up things that I really wanted to read for me. And also that if there was something I didn't want to read, I could say no. One of the things that is quite hard, and a nice thing that you have, it can be quite hard, is I quite regularly get sent review requests for books, and quite a lot of those books I'm not interested in. But sort of the last year, I guess, when they were first coming in, it felt really important to be saying yes to quite a lot of those, because I was trying to build up links with those publishers and with those people and with the people who are reaching out, and I really wanted to make this channel something bigger and something interesting and something that I'm really proud of. And so I was saying yes to an awful lot of things and trying not to turn down any opportunities that came my way. But again, that put pressure on me to be reading things I wouldn't have chosen and that sometimes I wasn't even really that interested in, for the connection that I thought that would get me. Which is, you know, in some ways that's been positive, because obviously I now can have books reviewed from lots of different places, but that was something I didn't actually enjoy all that much, and I've stopped doing that. I've said no to a lot more review books than I have historically, and actually at the moment I'm not taking many, if any, books for review at all. Just because of the fact that I've got next year coming up, I'm trying to work my TBR down, and I'm asking for books for review, but the ones that come in with suggestions I'm rarely saying yes to at the moment, and that's made my reading much more enjoyable as well. And I think the other thing that I've been doing is reading more non-fiction and learning more that way, and I think mixing up my reading post that video has actually been something that's meant my reading has felt more valuable and has meant I've naturally been reading more. So rather than me pushing myself to be reading a certain amount, I've just been doing it because I want to. And for those of you who follow me on Goodreads, you'll actually see that my goal for the year that I set to 52 books, which is I think I set as a result of that video, actually hasn't changed, and next year I'm going to put it to the same goal, which seems a bit weird because I'd actually want to read 194 books next year. But the thing that's most important is not the number, it's what I'm getting from my reading. So whilst next year I obviously want to be reading all the books I can from around the world, I don't want to be thinking, have I read X number of books, therefore this is good, but actually, am I enjoying this? Am I gaining something from this? And have it be less of a numbers game and more of a learning game. So yeah, I think that helps to explain it a little bit. I can't lie, I am a little bit intimidated for next year and the quantity of books I'm going to be reading, given how I felt about it before when I read 200 books in a year. But the thing I've been trying to do to combat that slightly is that I have been choosing really short books. So whilst there are, nearly 200, they're pretty much all going to be under 300 pages long. And most of those I could read, I can probably read a 100-page book in a couple hours. So I think that whilst there will be a lot of books, there'll probably be a lot less pages than there were in the 200 books I read, which does kind of make it feel a little bit less intimidating. But ultimately, whilst I really want to do it in a year, if I can't do it in a year, it doesn't mean that anything has failed. I still want to be reading my way around the world. I'll just do it the next year as well. So that's kind of taken the pressure off it as well. So yeah, I think that's kind of some of the things that I've been trying to do. And I think as well it's been about being careful about what I'm buying and not just going to the bookshop and just picking stuff up and then letting it sit there and being unsure if I was even really interested in it to start with, but doing a bit more research on the books I am picking up and seeing if there's something I want to read. Often at the moment I'm finding things on Twitter or on Instagram and I will just screenshot them, and then I'll have an album full of books that I've seen and I'm interested in, and I'll go through them and I'll decide every few weeks or so if I'm still interested in them, and if I'm not, then they just go away, and if they've been there for a really long time, then they're the kind of ones I buy. So like an example of that is Tell Me How It Ends. Now this book's been there for ages, it must have been there for like weeks now, and actually I was like, do you know what, I've been reliably interested in this book, therefore I'm going to buy it, and that feels like a much better way to be buying books and reading books than just trying to get to a number or a quantity. It's been a really rambly chat, this video, but I don't know, hopefully that's helped. I think what I really want to express is that the original reason that I decided to do the whole reading less hasn't actually altered. I haven't changed my mind in that the way I was reading was not sustainable or right for me, but I've changed some other elements of what I am doing that's meant I'm reading a bit more. I'm still not reading as much as I was that year. I think I've read 130 books so far this year, so that's still like 70 less, which is obviously a fair amount, even though I've still got a couple months left. So I think I'll probably get to 150 this year, which does, as again, a bit nervous for next year because that still will be a stretch. That'll be another 40 books. But I'm at a really comfortable pace. I don't feel like I'm pushing myself. I don't feel as though I'm not meeting my aims, and reading is much more enjoyable. So yeah, it's a bit of a complicated one, I guess, and it's something that I've been thinking about myself a good deal, and hopefully it's interesting to kind of hear a bit about my thoughts on that. I don't know what you guys think. I guess to some extent it's just getting older and deciding that actually I'd rather just read what I want to read than I would be trying to do it for any other reasons. And it's also part of my constant thing of trying to actually read the books that I own, and be cautious about what I have and what I want to read and what I ingest, because there's only so much time and there are so many books that I don't want to be reading stuff that isn't actually going to do anything for me. But yeah, tell me your thoughts. What do you think about this video, about the kind of the change of thoughts? How do you think next year is going to be for me? Have you guys ever kind of had similar feelings about it or about what you're reading? If you're creators as well, I'd love to know if you've had the same kind of thing where you feel you've said yes to so many things, actually it's become unenjoyable. Because that's a hard thing to admit, to be honest, because it makes me feel like I'm being really ungrateful for having the opportunity to review books, and I really do like getting review copies. but I think I was enjoying guessing them more than I was enjoying reading them, and that was a really sad state of affairs, and I don't want it to be that way. So now I'm just being much more picky about it. But yeah, that's my rambling. That's the end of this video. Hopefully you've enjoyed, and I'll see you guys soon in the next one. Bye!